Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Logged Into Life video. Glenn here, and today I want to have a little bit of a chat about my 5 tips for making more mindful purchases. So let's go. So I don't know about you guys, but if you're anything like me, you like to do a bit of shopping, you like to have new things, and it's just let's face it, it's an enjoyable part of life to get new things and to have new things. Um, and it's kind of become the norm in the world, and what a lot of our economies and everything are based around is having stuff. But I've come to realize since I was made redundant that stuff isn't all it's cut up to be. And as much as you can downsize your stuff and get rid of things, you then have to be very careful and very mindful about what you do buy to prevent ending up once again with more stuff. So that's why today I wanted to have a little bit of a look and give you 5 tips that I'm using on a regular basis, pretty much a daily basis, to decide on what I do and don't buy. So here's my 5 tips for purposeful purchases. So tip number 1 is single-use items. Don't buy them. It's pretty simple. So most things that you get in the world these days, and most things that you can buy, will either serve one purpose in particular or many purposes in particular. And so one of the things I've tried to implement and do on a regular basis when I look at purchasing something is, what can I use this for? Is it something that only has one use? Is it something that is multi-purpose that I can use for a number of different tasks? And based on that, I make based on that along with other things, I make a decision on whether to buy something or not. And basically, I don't buy things that only serve one use. It's just pointless, because then you end up with a bunch of things that are only good for one use, and you end up with more stuff. Tip number 2 is to shop around. Buy in bulk, and the big one, which most people are definitely getting into these days, is to shop online. So obviously most places have sales, and sales now are not really sales, shall we say. Sales these days are something that companies, businesses, shops, etc. do all the time. Gone are the days when sales was something that came at Boxing Day sales, Easter weekend sort of sales, stuff like that. Now you get Christmas in July, you get sales every other week. Every week, if you look somewhere, there is a sale for something. So there's no excuse for paying full price for things a lot of the time. You just got to be willing to put in the effort to shop around. And online is absolutely by far one of the best ways to do that. Now, retailers are going to hate me for saying all these things, but at the end of the day, what the coronavirus that we're going through at the moment is showing us is that you need to be online, and a lot of businesses have had to, by virtue of the virus being present, change their business models to being more online. And I think this is something we're going to find is only going to continue to grow in the future. Okay, my 3rd tip is one that credit card companies are not going to like me for. But here we go anyway. So my 3rd tip is pay cash. Do not use credit, and especially do not use credit cards. Credit cards are horrendous. I've had credit cards of many kinds and varieties in my life, and I've now been without any credit cards in my life whatsoever for about 4 years, 3-4 years, and I tell you, it is absolutely liberating. And I will never ever, and my wife and I will never ever in our lives again have credit cards. They are just the biggest trap you can fall into, and you end up paying for things 2 or 3 times over depending on how long it takes you to pay them off. And it just doesn't make sense to me why people do that. So, tip number 3, do not have a credit card. Cut them up, pay them off, cut them up, get rid of them. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, tip number 4. Is this number? I'm pretty sure this is number 4. We'll go with number 4. So tip number 4 for you is experiences over things. And this is something that my family are really trying to get into more and implement. Admittedly, it's been very hard with the coronavirus restrictions, but we are definitely working at, prior to that, doing more things rather than buying things. So we implemented a little bit of a thing, my wife and I, for our kids in the last couple of years, where rather than buying them things for their birthday and buying more toys that take up more space, and then most of the time half of them end up just breaking and you end up buying new ones, we buy experiences and we go and do things with our kids. We get out and we explore the world. We take them to national parks and we go for bushwalks, and we've really gotten in the last 6 to 8 months more into bike riding as a family. And we've had, especially during the coronavirus, we've had loads of really cool bike rides out together as a family, enjoying the great outdoors and having a good time. So yes, come on, get out there. Stop buying stuff and get out and experience the world with your family. It's highly recommended. Okay, and my tip number 5, the last one for the day, is need versus want. Now, I'm going to go into this in a little bit more detail in a future video, which I'm working on at the moment. However, I wanted to just mention it because it is an important tip as part of these 5 tips for how to make better purchases. Is you really need to think about whether you need something versus just wanting something. So, for example, I'm a tech head. I'm a geek. Just ask my wife. I am always looking for a new computer. I'm looking for the greatest and latest technology, etc., etc. And I always want a new computer. However, I starve those purchases off by saying to myself, I don't really need a new computer at the moment. Presently, I do think I need a new computer, but in discussions with my wife, we've agreed that I won't buy a new computer at the moment, that there are ways we can make use of the computers and devices we've got to do the things that I need to do. And so we're exploring that instead. So this need versus want is a really big one, and it's really important, which is why I'm going to do a little bit more of an in-depth video about it. But yes, think about that anytime you go shopping. If you pick up something off the shelf and you go, I've got to have that. Do you need it, or do you just want it? Think about it. So there you have it. That's my 5 tips for more purposeful purchases. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a comment below. Subscribe to the channel to get more good videos like this. And of course, share it with someone else. Spread the love is what I say. And until next time, you have a good day. My name's Glenn. Go live a little.